Nobody ever warned me that grief doesn't just take people. It takes versions of yourself you didn't even know you were holding on to. That life that you thought that you'd be living by now, the person you used to call, you thought you'd always be able to call them. That safe sense of certainty that used to come so easy, now it just doesn't. So, if you find yourself carrying something right now that you don't quite understand or can't find the language for, definitely listen to this one. You need to hear it because I've been in that heavy place, and what I got on the other side of it really changed so much about me. And I want to share that with you so that carrying this doesn't have to feel so heavy. So let's get into it. Now, friend, I have to be honest with you. This is not one of those get through grief faster videos, okay? So if you are expecting this to be like waving a magic wand and you're going to be over it, I don't want to disappoint you. Because it is not about getting over your grief faster. It's going to take however long it's going to take. And so I don't want you to focus so much in on the time frame or getting through it faster. This is really more about understanding what grief is doing in you while you're walking through it. Because even though this is feeling like the most agonizing, most torturous pain you've ever experienced, there is something that's being built in you right now that you just can't see through all of the excruciating, devastating loss that you're feeling right now. So I really want to help you understand what's happening on the inside of you and what this is actually requiring of you to shed, because that is exactly what it felt like for me when I went through the first major loss within my own family. When my granny passed away and made her transition to heaven, it rocked my world. It was like the ground had been ripped from underneath me. And it felt like that throughout our family because she was really like the pillar of our family. And we all kind of felt lost without her. And I can't talk about her without letting you know a little bit about her. My granny was a feisty, firecracker, fashionista type chick. Like, she was always so fun, loved to dress to the nines. Like, her stockings had her name on them. Okay, friend. And she took no kind of mess from nobody. But she was always the most loving woman in the room. And so to lose her, it rocked all of our worlds, really. And just when I felt like I was starting to get my footing with her loss, then my mom passed and made her transition to heaven. And my mom was my everything. I was born on her 15th birthday. I used to tell her, I'm the gift that keeps on giving. But she was my everything. And I will never forget being so just completely just undone behind her loss. And the first time I ever had to go to the grocery store, I never would have imagined I would sit in the parking lot and cry for an hour because I didn't know how I was going to go in there and actually do my grocery shopping, because it was something that we always did together. And even just something so small and ordinary, like all of a sudden, this grocery cart was the thing that like broke me down to my brake pads. And yes, it was a result of the loss, but just not even understanding like why it was really just so hard hitting. So if you are in that space and you are grieving someone that you loved and lost, or and let's even look at this even from a broader perspective, because grief really isn't just limited to losing a person or someone you love. Grief happens when you end a major relationship in your life. You know, if you go through divorce, you are going to go through a season of grief. If you've lost a career or a job that so much of who you are or who you were, your identity was wrapped up in that, you can experience grief. So it can show up in so many different forms in our life. And I didn't really understand that grief was happening in so many other places in my life until I lost my granny and my mom. So, wherever it is that you are feeling this sense of loss, I want you to know that it is okay to feel everything that you're feeling. And when I was celebrating my very first birthday without my mom, that was the first time that I ever learned that even though I was walking through grief and it was so random, like if you've gone through it, you already know. Like they tell you, oh, there's like 7 stages of grief. Okay, well, nobody told me that I was going to go through all of them within the day. Nobody told me that I could expect to experience them all by 8 a.m. Like, where was the fine print that I missed? And listen, to know me is to know that humor and laughter, it's just a coping mechanism, okay? I don't want anybody thinking like I'm making light of losing the two most important women in my life, because that's not the case. But if I can't laugh about it, friend, you need to make a call. Like, somebody need to come and see about your girl if I can't find nothing funny. Because this is just one of the ways that helps to alleviate the pressure from carrying all of that pain and all of those confusing feelings that hit you like waves coming in from the ocean. Like you never know what can cause you to just be in a puddle of tears. So I hope that you know that it is normal, it is okay, and you can feel all the feels. I actually really encourage you and invite you to feel everything that you're feeling. When I had to celebrate my first birthday without my mom, I had birthday plans because I have one of my bestest friends. Her birthday is also the same day as ours. And she was so kind enough to put together like a little birthday dinner for us. And so it gave me something to look forward to that day. And I knew that I was going to have to get ready, but I had no idea how I was going to feel on that day because, it just, it comes in and it's fast and it's furious. And so I had given myself until 10 a.m. to feel sad. And 10 a.m. came and I still felt so sad and I couldn't get it together. So I was like, you know what? Let me give myself until 11. And 11 o'clock came and I still had some more to go. Like, I was still just feeling so sad and so devastated. And I said, you know what? I'm going to give myself until noon. But come 12 o'clock this afternoon, I have to start getting ready because I still have a life to celebrate. And I can still celebrate her life, even though this is the hardest thing I've ever faced. And what that taught me was that it was okay to feel my feelings. And it was also okay to make a decision that I was no longer going to feel that for the rest of the day. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, but I could decide when I was going to go down and when I was going to pick myself back up. And I think that's a piece of the grief conversation that's missing, is that we don't always realize that even in those moments when we feel like we are just below the lowest of the lowest points, that you still have power and you can still make a decision that you don't have to feel all of those feelings, at least for a while. So I really invite you to explore your feelings when they come up. Allow them to have some time on the stage, because that is what they want. They want to be seen, they want to be heard. And you know what that's like because you want that too for yourself. So allow your feelings to be seen, heard, and felt. Feel them. But it does not mean that that has to be a permanent place that you decide to stay for extended periods of time. You can say, you know what, at this time, I'm going to reach for a new feeling. I'm going to reach for a lighter feeling. I'm just going to allow this feeling to rest, and I can come back and pick you up later on. So I just want you to recognize how powerful you are. And it is important to feel all of your feelings, but you are still in control and you still have a say. If you take nothing else from this segment, just understand you still have a say. Something else nobody warned me about when it comes to grief is feeling like a part of you dies too. And I definitely felt like that when my mom made her transition to heaven. I felt like I didn't really know who I was without her because my life was so intertwined within her. And it left me feeling so lost. And it felt like a part of me went with her. And I actually really believe that that is true, but not in the way that we fear the most. During that season of my life, I really realized that I was somebody who complained way too much, friend. Like, if there could have been an award for being the best complainer that there was, listen, I would have won hands down. I was someone who constantly complained and seen the worst case scenario as the only scenario. And I just I had like a lack mindset, very scarcity driven. And what I realized at one moment when I would normally complain, I just couldn't. Like it just didn't even feel right in my body. And even when I tried to put together the sentence and put it out there, I got like midway through the sentence and then couldn't find my words anymore. I just couldn't do it. Like I had no desire to want to complain. And that's when I realized that those parts of me, the people pleaser, the person who would make myself small to keep other people comfortable, that part of me, the one who always complained, that part of me really did need to die because it was blocking me from some of my greatest blessings in this life. So I began to see it more like a shedding process. Like my mom's grief, it really cracked me so wide open that all of my normal defenses and even some of my flaws, they just could no longer exist in this new place without her. It felt so foreign to me. So I just want to invite you to think about the pieces or parts of you that you need to shed. The maybe you're dealing with people pleasing or putting yourself on the back burner or living in the shadows or spending your life being so dedicated to making everybody else's world go round that you've lost touch with who you are and what you want at this stage in your life. So maybe there are parts of you too that you need to shed. Maybe those parts also are not meant to come with you as you go forward into this new season of your life. And that's what I was talking about in the very beginning of this video when I talked about there's something in you that is being built. And in order for that new thing in you to be built, you have to shed some things. There are some things, whether it be a mindset, a habit, a behavior, some pattern that you keep reliving over and over again. And you know that it's not serving you, you know it's not helping you to move forward. Maybe this is the place where that is meant to just stay where it's at and not go forward with you. So, what do you think that that is for you that you are ready to shed that isn't meant to go forward with you? Initially, when grief hit me the hardest, it felt like my everything had been taken away from me. And it took me to go through grief counseling because listen, it was just I was so cracked wide open that the normal way that I would get through things, I was really the pick yourself up by the bootstraps kind of chick and keep it pushing. Like, we got things to do. They left me with two children to raise. How dare they? But all of the ways that I would usually pick myself up and just carry on, all of those things, they didn't work. And there was no way that I would have been able to get through my grief and process it in a healthy way and still be able to show up and be there for my kids and realize that there was so much growth and change happening within me. And when you feel like your everything has been taken from you, it's easy to just get caught up in that feeling of loss. But grief didn't just take something or even the most important things from me. Grief gave me something too, because throughout that process, it was the first time that I got to a place where I actually felt like I knew who I was as a person, as a woman. And the woman that I became as a result of going through my grief journey, that gave birth to the woman that I am today. And I'm so deeply in love with her that it made me feel as though that loss, that grief, it gave me something more than what it took. So I really want to encourage you that if you are in that place where it feels like grief is just taken so much from you and it has, but it can also give birth to something so beautiful in you as well. So I really invite you to explore that and be open to grief giving birth to something beautiful in you. So before you close out of this video, I want you to journal. What is this season trying to give birth to within me? And really explore that, friend. Really allow that to land and discover this new found person that is on her way, making her way forward. I want you to know that this season, it has taken something important to you that means something that can't be replaced. But I do want you to know that for as much as grief can take, it can also give. And I think that's the part of grief that just doesn't get talked about enough. No one talks about what grief can actually give you, what it can actually birth within you. And I know that there is another level for you. There is another version within you that is making her way to step into her rightful place as the main character in your life. She's coming forward, and what's being built in you is beautiful. And I hope that you'll allow it a place to land. Well, friend, I hope that you loved this video as much as I have loved making it for you. What is this season of grief showing you? And if you're feeling brave and you're feeling bold, drop me one word that your grief season is showing you. I would love to meet you in the comments and support you there, send you a big virtual hug, and all of the things. I am sending you so much love. Your grief journey, it is not for nothing. Everything that you are going through, it is paving the way for so many blessings, so many miracles, so many amazing things are coming your way. And grief is really just a pruning process. It is just tending to your garden. There were some weeds in your garden that had to go. And this is just grief's way of clearing out all of the weeds so that you have space to allow all of your blessings and all of your miracles to land for you. And one of those is seeing the beautiful new you, because she's coming up. She's on her way. Love you so much, friend. I will meet you in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.